Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting video. And yes, the time is finally here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, no rumors, it's just straight facts. Because on May the 7th, just a little before 2 a.m., at least in my time, Central Standard Time, Furukawa came out with a statement saying, this is Furukawa. You know, crap is getting real when they say this is blank. Shigeru Miyamoto, Furukawa, Anuma, like, you know, whatever. You know, stuff is about to get real though. But he came out in a statement saying, hey, the successor to the Nintendo Switch is going to be announced within this upcoming fiscal year. That basically means from the point of this video all the way around to March of 2025 at the latest, the Nintendo Switch successor is gonna be announced. We should get some information, the unveiling and all that good jazz and stuff like that. So in today's video, I just want to go through and give all my thoughts on that, and then the fact that they even confirmed that a Nintendo Direct is going to be confirmed, the release in the month of June though. So I'm just going to go ahead and spill all the beans up in this video, just kind of give my overall two takes up on this situation though. So if you really like this video, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. The Nintendo Switch 2, everybody and their mama's been running around with rumors left and right and stuff like that. We thought that there might have been a good chance it could have been unveiled and actually released maybe this holiday of 2024, but then some rumors put us off though. But we finally heard it from the horse's mouth, and this is what Furukawa had to say, at least within this one tweet from the business account from Nintendo. This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of the Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the later half of 2024. But please be aware that there'll be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation. And that's all we had, at least within that one tweet right there. So, you know, let's go ahead and break this thing down here just a little bit though. Obviously there's two major talking points, at least from this one statement. Everything with the information pertaining around the Nintendo Switch successor, and then the upcoming Nintendo Direct that will be happening in the month of June. So let's talk about obviously the biggest news, that being we finally got confirmation from Nintendo themselves acknowledging that there is going to be a successor for the Nintendo Switch. And, you know, this is just the first step right here. Obviously, we'll probably have an unveiling and stuff a little later on, though. But this is the first step, at least in terms of just announcing this thing, then revealing, like maybe giving us a little video, kind of like how the Nintendo Switch did within that October video, where they actually showcase off the system. Then they did a presentation a little later that following year, though. So at least within this statement that they said right here, the one interesting thing I find really interesting is the fact that they keep talking about this next generation console as the Nintendo Switch successor. If you look back at how the Nintendo Switch was in comparison to the Wii U, they just said the codename NX, or they just said the next generation console for Nintendo. They didn't say the successor to the Wii U or anything like that though. So one thing's kind of already telling me, at least within this one statement, is I feel like it's going to be very akin to what we all been theorizing as it being like a Switch 2, which is going to be probably a little bit more stronger, which I think a lot of people really wanted it to be. Maybe possibly, I feel like it should be backwards compatible with the current generation of Nintendo Switch games and stuff like that though. And then obviously they're going to have maybe a couple of new gimmicks or something like that within this next console though. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a straightforward console. Now keep in mind, this is going to be Furukawa's first Nintendo generation release for a new console, at least within his belt, because obviously Mr. Iwata, he managed to do like all of the other previous ones though. So this is going to be his first system for him to be able to kind of drop out for the whole entire general public though. So keeping all of this in mind, he did manage to say that yes, we are going to announce it within this upcoming fiscal year though. So a fiscal year for Nintendo runs from April of what will be the giving year to March the following year though. So sometime between when this video launches and March 2025 at the latest, we'll get the announcement of the Nintendo Switch. Now, at least if they do something kind of similar, but maybe a little bit different from the way how the Nintendo Switch was revealed, I'm fully expecting some point in the fall time That could be like September, October, I would say November at the latest. I have a feeling they're going to go ahead and announce and reveal what the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm just going to call it the Nintendo Switch 2 for the time being, for the rest of the sake of this video. It's just the easiest way of saying this thing though. But they're going to showcase off some kind of reveal trailer for Nintendo Switch 2, similar to how they did the Nintendo Switch. You're probably going to see the controllers, you're going to see the form factors, probably still going to be the same hybrid system in terms of you being able to play a handheld and being able to play the system dock. And they'll just kind of show some little extra features like that and won't go too heavily or too deep up in it until I would say probably around the wintertime, January or early February at the latest. I'm expecting there to be some kind of a general presentation of just saying, hey, here are all the slew of games we're going to have for the rest of this year. The timelines might be very similar to the Nintendo Switch like that, because that January presentation for the Nintendo Switch, yeah, that happened all the way back in 2017, and they revealed everything from the new Legend of Zelda game with Breath of the Wild all the way up to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, following up the year all the way in the month of December though. So I think something very similar like that will probably happen around that wintertime-ish time period. And then I think in terms of the actual release date for the system, it'll probably be sometime in those spring months. So I think everybody's kind of thinking they could, repeat and do the same thing, drop in the month of March. I just think it's going to be one of those springtime months. So I would say March, April, or maybe May at the latest. I think that's probably when they're going to drop the system though. So I think that's all of the things that we can kind of expect from the Switch 2 at this given point. We don't have any more extensive information beyond that though. And then that's where you can kind of just start to kind of predict and theorize what Nintendo could basically do. But, at point blank, this is basically all the information we have on the Switch 2 as of this moment though. Now, for sure, for the rest of May and for the rest of June, because they said that, in this Nintendo Direct that's going to happen in the month of June, don't expect any mention of the Switch successor during that presentation. So if there's going to be nothing on that, then we know for sure May and June is out of the question in terms of the reveal. So anytime after June, which is July onward, and leading all the way up until like March of 2025, that's our window frame that we have to kind of think about right there. That's pretty much all the information we have on the Switch 2. And obviously there's a lot more things I wanted to say, theorize, and kind of predict though. But within my next upcoming episode of my Czarcast podcast, which should be held on this upcoming Sunday, me and Steven will go through and kind of give all of our thoughts, predictions, and theories and stuff about anything else that we can possibly think about. So you can look forward to that with some extra information for the Switch 2 and what we kind of think. But the second half of this statement is the fact that there is a confirmed Nintendo Direct that's going to be dropping out in the month of June. Now, normally with Nintendo Directs, in terms of general ones, they usually happen sometime in the winter months. Usually February is a good ballpark. You usually have one that's usually around the old E3 time, so usually in the month of June. And then you have one that's usually in the fall time, which September is like the most common month for that kind of Direct as well though. So those usually are the three biggest times out of the year that we can usually expect to see Nintendo General Directs though. Now keep in mind, because of COVID and stuff, and then the fallout of E3 and stuff, and Jeff Keighley trying to do this thing with Summer Game Fest and stuff, Nintendo's been kind of wishy-washy in terms of when they kind of had that Direct in the summertime, whether it's a partner showcase, a general Nintendo Direct, or sometimes it's a mini or anything else kind of in between though. But this is the first time ever I think they came out in a statement and said, hey, we're gonna have the standard old Nintendo Direct in the month of June this far out. Like, it's probably going all the way back to those old E3 days of when they're kind of confirmed at some point in the month of May, say, hey, it's going to happen in the month of June though. So it's been a while since we had some kind of, confirmation on this. We don't know exactly what day that will be, whether it be coming towards like the first half of the month, the later half of the month. Knowing Nintendo and the way how they kind of like to be the captains of their own ship, it would not behoove me if they manage to say, hey, we're going to have this Direct on the last day of the month. I'm just saying right there though. But yeah, it's really interesting the fact that they had to come out in this statement, because I feel like, because all of this information was released roughly around the time of their fiscal reports, where they were able to talk to, all of the investors and stuff and say, hey, these are our numbers. This is how many consoles we managed to sell. This is how many software we managed to sell. This is our updated million sellers and all of that. All that information we'll probably go over a little bit more so in depth on my Czarcast podcast though. one of the key things that they had to actually mention, at least within this conference, is the fact of what they're going to do for the second half of this year. Because we know now the successor to the Nintendo Switch is likely to be on the horizon, could be releasing as early as March of 2025. That kind of puts Nintendo in a sticky kind of situation where it's like, well, what are you going to do for the rest of this year? Because more than likely not, you're not going to release that console this year, though. But you are going to announce your next system and actually showcase it off, though. So what are you going to do in terms of keeping your audience well entertained and well informed and saying, hey, there's still plenty of stuff that you can enjoy in the meantime until we have our next system ready to go, though. And I think it's really important to note that they managed to announce this Nintendo Direct this far out in advance because, I mean, we more than likely not, they're going to give us at least a couple or a few Switch games that are first party that are going to be coming from Nintendo at this presentation. I think the easiest one that everybody's going to predict is like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Like, there are going to be a lot of maybe remakes, a lot of remasters or ports of previous Nintendo games that happened on previous consoles and bringing those up to Nintendo Switch just to kind of bide out the time. Anything that's quick and easy and able to ship out the door. Obviously, don't expect nothing like the next biggest 3D Zelda game and the next biggest 3D Mario game or anything like that. Don't expect giant titles like those. Those are going to be likely saved for the first year and onward for the Nintendo Switch successor, though. So that's just an interesting point to know, at least within this one statement, is yes, Nintendo understands that everybody's kind of looking towards the next new thing, the next shiny new thing, but we still have some stuff to kind of buy y'all over in terms of time that will last for the second half of this year, that will roll you up into 2024. Because as it stands right now, from the point of this video recording, the only things we know of that's beyond Luigi's Mansion 2, which drops out in the month of June, is Pokemon Legends Z, which is already confirmed for 2025, some point during that year, though. Likely going to be releasing, obviously, on the Switch, but possibly be on the next generation console, whether it be back compat or they just have a version exclusive for it as well, though. Who's to say, though? And then, obviously, Metroid Prime 4, which at this point, a cross-gen game. I'm expecting to be on the Nintendo Switch and its successor at this point, though. But those are the only two games we know at this point, though. So Nintendo needs to make it really clear and really evident of what their plans are going to be moving for the second half of 2024. So that's basically all of the stuff I was able to pull out of this one statement, though. But just as a casual reminder, my upcoming Czarcast podcast, me and Steven will give the full lowdown in terms of our predictions and theories of everything we might be able to expect. We'll give the whole lowdown in terms of everything we might be able to possibly think, predict, and theorize in terms of Nintendo's overall strategy for the second half of 2024 and beyond. So that is the status update for Nintendo in terms of their plans for the second half of 2024 and beyond. It's finally great to see Nintendo acknowledge that the successor to the Nintendo Switch is coming. We're going to get that announcement some point soon, July onward. March 2025 is going to be the latest, and more than likely it's going to be revealed way before that, though. But it's just nice to finally get the elephant out of the room. Like, we all knew that this mess was coming, though. So it's just we're finally glad that we're able to see this information come to fruition, though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below what all that you think about all this information that Nintendo managed to drop on us. And man, oh boy, 3 a.m. for the East Coast timers out there, man, that was it was really late in the night right there, though. But let me know how you feel about all this information and more down in the comment section down below. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video, though. So if you really like this, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until that video I make next, see y'all.